Okay, so welcome to turn 1 for Garden of Good and Evil with MA-Ermor. Here we go. So this is the first turn. There's not much to do. What we could do, and I don't think I did it this turn, is a lot of times I would send my censor into a province and have him retreat. Just to see what's in there exactly, because you can never trust scouting reports. And what you almost always want to do is cast Revive Acolyte for your first turn. That way, if we get any sacred units, we can potentially expand with them next turn. If you look at where I am on the map, you can see I'm playing on Volanus, which is this big, beautiful map right here. I'm right here. Somebody's probably down in here. There's Ryla's playing, so Ryla's probably somewhere here in the ocean. Usually one or two nations will start over here, and then there's usually two nations over here. So Argartha's playing. Argartha's probably down here, and Ryla's probably here. Otherwise, I don't really know much about who's going to be over here. But as you see, it's really hard to get underground. There's a way to get underground right here, and there's a way to get underground right here. But otherwise, I'm mostly shut off. So, with this nation, you can actually expand really quickly. So my goal is going to be to expand all throughout and really have this whole territory. Once I have this, I'm going to run into neighbors. They're probably going to invade me. And if not, I may invade them, depending on who they are. I'm going to try to go underground. Really, I want to go underground before Argartha has Earthquake spam up. That'll make it a lot easier. Otherwise, I'll probably be able to kill his armies, but it'll be really hard to siege him. So we'll see how I do that. I might try to pin him in a fort with some elite troops and then take everything else. You can see there's two thrones down here too, which is really good. This is also a really high population province normally on this map, and I think there's usually population here too. So getting underground is going to be really good. Argartha in this age has really strong sacred units, but mine are going to be way better. So I think I'll probably wreck him until Earthquake comes online, which won't be that's probably, like, without a doubt his first research objective. And I definitely want to get him before Marble, all his statues come online. So I need to have done a significant invasion by year 2. But my first goal is to take this area. Let's take a look here. So I'm probably going to cast Revive Acolyte 3 times, and then I'm going to empower this guy. And then once I've empowered him, I'll be able to get Archbishops, which are awesome. And then a Dusk Elder. What a lot of people will do is they'll prophetize this guy first turn, and then they can either set him to revive lictors, which slows your expansion down, or you can put some of your sacreds in your first expansion group. I don't do that, and I'll tell you why. The main reason is that this group actually is a really good expansion group. I know it looks like shit, but they're really good, and it's a mix of having the javelins and then these shields, which don't show up really in the stats. So these guys can usually expand really well right out of the gate. If I make them a prophet, it's going to spread my dominion to all the provinces I conquer with this group, which is the opposite of what I want to do. My dominion's freaking horrible, and all the provinces I conquer, I don't want them to have my dominion in it until much later. So that's the big thing. The other thing, and this is how I play MA-Ermor, but not probably other people, is I'm going to try to cluster forts around my start, rather than put them at strategic points as, where I expand. And now the reason for that is that forts are only as good for MA-Ermor as the dominion you have in them. So having like a 2-dominion fort doesn't do much. So as dominion radiates out from my capital, I'm going to have dominion in those forts, which is going to be really key. And the other thing is I'm going to be putting temples in my forts, because that's going to give me better free spawn. And I don't want Dominion in my income generating provinces out here, otherwise I'm only going to have a few forts. So my strategy is to build forts here, and it's going to be later to have a bunch of income generation out here that ideally is not affected by my Dominion. The other thing too is I want to make it really hard. The forts are really they're your lifeblood as MA-Ermor, and if you don't put up a lot of forts, you're going to lose. I don't want forts out here where they can be picked off. When somebody is coming in here and they're going to be going after my little fort center, it's going to be extremely hard for them to wage war. I'm going to have undead in there defending it, so that they're going to have to bring a big army to siege it. There's going to be no population in there, so the army they have is going to be starving. Basically, unless I get attacked really hard really early, I'm going to develop a core that really nobody can attack me or finish me off. And I'm going to be like this malignant plague that they can come and they can attack, but they can't destroy. And that's worst case. Best case is I eat one of my neighbors, and then I'm a cancer, not some kind of malignant thing they can't get rid of. Ideally I kill whoever's over here, and then kill Argartha, and I've got this huge side of the world, and then I'll just, with all the income that will come from that, I'll grow wild and out of control. But I'm playing against good players, and they all pick counters to me, and it's no secret they're all ganging up against me, so we'll see if that ends up happening. So anyway, turn 1, I think this guy was set to patrol, but yeah, basically just reviving an Acolyte. I'm going to go ahead and do another turn here. We're going to look at turn 2. Okay, this is also a role-playing game, so I sent a message out to everyone that said, "Creatures of Volantis," or Volantis, that's the map. "False pretenders, death comes for all in thy time. With time you'll know the power death affords, serve in life, and you shall rise again to serve in death." Asphodel has basically said that there isn't enough woods and forest in the world. We of Asphodel will right this. By exterminating all those who destroy forests for buildings and farms, what's wrong with sleeping on the forest floors? Just think of all those cute deers that you displace from their homes. Anyways, you can't run and you can't hide. Good day, Asphodel. So Asphodel is actually a very cancerous nation also. They get free spawn undead, and basically they can grow huge and out of control, but they're really terrain dependent, so depending where Asphodel starts, like if Asphodel's up here and has access to all these forests, it would be really strong. If they're over here with access to these forests, right, that's like 6 forests, they would be really strong. If they're stuck over here and they get like 2 forests, and they have their cap in one, so that doesn't even really count, that would be really bad for them. Down here there's only 1 forest, right? So if they're on this side of the map, they're kind of screwed. If they're up here, like this would be the best start position for Asphodel. That would be in a really strong starting spot. Let's go back and look at our messages again. From Ryla, they say, "The great Set Yig will awaken. Set Yig is easy to anger, but also easy to please. Beware his curse. The ocean is more ancient than the mountains, and the fright and I don't know what that word is, with memories and the dreams of time." So everybody's kind of giving off their initial messages to the world. You can see I revived an Acolyte. Unfortunately, I didn't have a good spawn. I only had 1 sacred spawn, which really, ideally you want 3 to spawn in your first turn, then you can do an expansion party. If I had 2, I would have sent out an expansion party also. But because I didn't, I set him to reanimate ghouls, which hurts your population, but as you can see in my capital, I only have 6,000 population left. So they're gonna die anyway. Might as well turn them into ghouls so I can get some use out of them. I did have a sensor spawn, free spawn, which is really nice. I can potentially use that. This guy I've set off to attack over here, right? So the deer tribe, I'm gonna freaking wreck them. Barbarians, yeah, that's gonna hurt, killing all those guys. This is gonna be an easy province to take also. So that's the end of turn 2. let's look at turn 3. And as you can see, I've already played... I actually haven't played the 19. I think I've played the 16 right now. These are just empty folders right here. But let's load up turn 3. So I kind of know how the game's going to go through the first year. But I will pretend like I don't. Okay, so you can see this province right here. We just wrecked them, right? This is the formation I like to put them in. I like to put my stronger undead up in the front and my weaker ones in the back. These guys are going to throw their javelins and then fill in any holes in the ranks here. So you can see... I'll put it on fast forward a little bit. See, they're hardly doing any damage with those arrows, and most of it's because of the tower shields. And there you see the value of the javelins, right? We just did a huge amount of damage with the first javelin volley, right? So it's basically over before we even engage in melee, right? See, they've even routed, right? That's why these guys are so good. All right, the archers are still firing, but again, I've got these tower shields. They don't do much. Right, 1 damage per volley, right? 3 damage, right? So really, they're not doing anything. And these guys are about to rout, probably HP rout. Yep. Okay, so that's how these guys are going to expand. This turn, I had sent them to going over here to attack these little Marcadas, who are going to get just absolutely wrecked. And what's happening next? Don't have enough troops to send out another group. I decided to send out a group with only 2. This is a really small group, and what I do is I put them here at the back next to my priest. I have them hold an attack so they can get all buffed up, and then I had these guys here to absorb arrow fire, right? And I sent them over here. Let's watch that. So turn 4, we can see how my expansion went. First we have a message. Asphodel is saying that I had sent Asphodel a message saying that I was going to come after him and teach him who was the real god of undead, but only after I killed the living first, which is really the nicest way that the god of death can say, hey, maybe we should be friends for a couple months. And so it looks like he's kind of acquiescing to that. He's saying, we'll see who cleanses the world of the living first. So, yeah, and this is a message back from Ryla. You were warned. You were warned the great Set Yig is quick to anger, and yet you throw feeble threats into the blessed sea. That which slumbers will not eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die. Okay, so this expansion went really easily. It's a bunch of monkeys. Poor monkeys, right? Here you can see these guys got totally wrecked, so they probably got nailed by the heavy cavalry, and then my knights cleaned up. So we'll look. This is going to be the first time you get to see my bless working. You'll see some problems with it, like ideally these guys are in the same square. So it's one thing I actually have done kind of badly this game, and this is insight from later turns, is I would have my troop formation kind of wacky, so that a lot of times I would end up not blessing one of my guys. And if you don't bless one of these, they're going to die. And they're really important early game, so you really can't lose any of them to dumb things like not blessing them. So here they soaked up the lance charges, and here go my horses. And so you can see they just nailed them, then they dodged everything because you can see they have 20 defense, which is super high, 14 hit points, right? Here's the bless. Right, that's a quad bless. Right, here's the death weapons. The damage is magical and will be effective versus ethereal beings, right? So there we go. Okay, and you can see these guys hit like a damn freight train, especially with quickness. Okay, and these are not bad troops, right? They're 15 protection. Right, you can see we just are cleaning them up. Nice and fast. No damage. Wrecked. These are cracking the shit. Okay. So that's how that goes. I'm sending these guys into this province, which should be pretty easy. These guys I'm sending over here. In terms of spawn, I had summoned another Acolyte, and then fortunately I had 2 more of these guys spawn. And I sent them over here to take on these Barbarians, which is super risky. I know when I'm doing this that I'm probably going to have some die. Because Barbarians can kill my little Sacred dudes. But I'm sending them with... because I had that other sensor free spawn. I'm sending them with a bunch of troop backup. And I've put them out here, so hopefully the Barbarians will come this way, and then... these troops, my Sacreds, will kind of plow into them. That's the plan. But I'm expecting heavy casualties, but I need to open up this frontier to send in an army. So let's see how that plays out, and this will probably be my last turn for the episode. Okay, so I think this is turn 5 now. Okay, so you can see this is turn 5 and I've got 3 expansion forces out. This is what you need to do as MA-Ermor. You need to expand rapidly. The early game is yours. Okay, so you can see this was successful, right? Here, this was really unfortunate. We'll see what happened there. So you can see in both these expansions, this one in Lithia, I lost one of my unholy Sepulchre Knights. But I still took the province, right? So that shows you, like, if you look, I had 5 troops that took on 50, right? And I still won. Here, this was against the Barbarians. I expected heavy casualties, right? So losing this one, I knew that would happen. That was expected. Here, I did not expect to lose a troop. So, I mean, a Knight of the Unholy Sepulchre. So we'll have to watch that. So let's watch both these real quick. Let's see what happened here. Okay, so I put the game in high speed. Okay, so we blessed him. Now we blessed him. So they're both blessed. Okay, you can see he really got surrounded. So he's already a negative 3 HP, and he's weakened. So he got totally surrounded. Ideally, you want both these in the same square. So yeah, he just got killed. So I definitely could have lost this, and that's having 2 knights is really low. Normally you want more than 2 knights. But you can see this guy is just a huge beast, and he kills them all. So that's the good thing about him. The bad thing now is I'm going to have to send him back for reinforcements. What I do, however, do is I move my knight to the province, so he's just sitting there. And I have this guy, who I summoned last turn, and I got another 2 knights, so I'm having him move up here. When he gets here, he's going to grab the knights that are already in the province, and he'll have 3. So that'll be a good expansion force. So I'm not going to be able to expand this turn, but I will be able to expand the next turn. Let's watch this battle. This is versus the Barbarians. So you can see it's about 50 Barbarians. These guys are nasty. They're going to hurt. For sure. So, my knights, they're all blessed. I think I got both of them. Oh, see, he's not. He's definitely going to die. He is with 100% certainty going to die. Right? And a lot of that is... It shouldn't happen, because I cast Unholy Bless 3 times. I only have 3 things to bless. I guess he blessed him instead. So, what I could do, because I had the sensor in the fight, I didn't think about it, is I should have moved the sensor way out of range of the bless, so the bless would go to these guys. The other thing I could do is make sure these guys are in the same square, or put the sensor in the same square as this guy, because really I only had 2 squares to bless if I had these guys lined up right. So I could have done this better, and this is the thing, like losing one of these knights here is actually going to slow down my expansion significantly. So little things like this make a big difference. But yeah, watch him. He's just going to get freaking wrecked. Okay, so see, he just died in 1 turn. Because he wasn't blessed. Now this guy's going to go on to just absolutely wreck everyone. Okay, so he got hurt really bad. He's in the negatives. No wound yet, though. He healed 2. And I'll just say, you usually don't want to be surrounded by barbarians like that. Like, it's going to hurt. But somebody went in, filled the square, and would soak up some of the damage, or probably would have died. And that's why I brought in all these guys, because I knew these two wouldn't be able to take it alone. If I had the other dude blessed, I think the battle would have gone even better. But I didn't, so... Okay. So that's that. What I have, though, is I have this guy, and this is a really weak spot, so I'm going to go try to take it out. And we'll see how that goes in the next episode, because I'm about out of time.